Welcome. I'm Sarah. If you are watching this back on the replay, I usually just answer the questions that come up in the chat. So there should be a feature for you to be able to turn that on. Um, let's see. So this is a place for people who are deconstructing, questioning their faith, and just kind of want a place to connect and chat and yeah, to talk about it. So I, hey David, good to see you. Ooh, it's hot. Hi Spark, hi. Well, hey Marianne, good to see you. Hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday. Yep, it's Tuesday. For anyone who's new, hey, I'm Sarah, and this is a place for people who are deconstructing their faith, questioning their faith, ex-believers who want a place to connect and talk about the process. Hi, Dee. Oh, very tired for a Tuesday. I'm sorry. Oh, hi from British Columbia. Hey, Walt. Excuse me. So typically, on the lives, we talk about the process of leaving your faith or questioning your faith. Hey, Mark. And I bring up hell a lot because hell was. Am I back? Oh, my app crashed again. I'm worried that it's going to keep crashing. I don't know why my app doesn't like me to use the live feature. Hey, John. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. Hi. So I guess my app hates me today. If I disappear, it is because my app has crashed. So I will, if it does it again, I'll try and move over to my laptop, but it's not as nice over there. Hi. Yeah, I consider myself an agnostic atheist. Thanks, Blitz. Thanks, John. Well, that's very fair. I respect your worship of the flying spaghetti monster as well. Hi, Michelle. Well, thanks everyone for sticking through a app crash. Hi. Oh, Blitz, there's actually a lot of us, agnostic atheists. Yeah. So you're in good company. I think, people who question their beliefs can end up in a lot of different places. So it certainly doesn't have to be agnostic atheism, but a lot of us do end up there. Hey, Rod. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Oh, hi from Florida. Hey, hey. Sure. Josiah says, do you mind me asking what led you to leave your former religion? So I do have an FAQ playlist that will give you a much longer answer. But the shorter answer is I just stopped believing that it was true. And so I stopped participating in the religion because I didn't think it was true anymore. Hi from Michigan. Hi, Vivek. Oh, two people from Michigan. Yes. Ruby put herself to sleep, I think. I think she went to bed, and then I hear Checkers getting in trouble in the kitchen. I will, what religion? I was a Protestant Christian. My eyes look green. Nice. Hey, Cruz. Have I thought of reconstructing? It depends on what you mean by that word. Thanks, Annis. John says, I'm scared there is a hell and I don't go to church anymore. I completely understand when people are scared of hell, that is, that has been created to be the most terrifying thing imaginable. Like, I can't imagine anything worse than eternal suffering. Oh, well, thanks, Blitz. Yeah, balls. I don't think that there's an afterlife either. I think this is it. Yeah, Danny says, I'm just scared of the unknown. I think that's really reasonable and really human, So, Chris, as far as like reconstructing, I don't want to believe in something for the sake of believing in it. Like I just want to know what's true. Yeah, I think a lot of people think it'll be like before you were born. Hi, Paul. Rod says, I don't believe, but have never been scared of hell because I don't believe I deserve it. But if God created us, but if God created sin over one apple, then he might throw us all in there. Wow, what a question. Robert said, what's your sense of how religion is used as an extension of politics in America and worldwide now and throughout history? That's a whole dissertation. I certainly will say that humans always and forever like to be part of a group, and they like power and control. And so you can use religion as well as politics to do those things. Granted, I do think you can use both politics and religion to accomplish really good things, but you can also use them as a way to lord power over people. I think in that sense, they're almost very similar mechanisms. Josiah says, I definitely understand why people leave Christianity. For me personally, though, I've seen too much for me to have doubt or want to leave. I can understand that, honestly. Like, if it is a personal experience, if something happened to you, yeah, I can understand why that'd be really convincing. Okay, it's time for our little filter here. Hi, Eve. Well, Seal, to be fair, I also don't remember the time between when I was conceived and when I was born either. Hey, Calmus. Tony says, I think is sometimes trying to find facts is our human flaw. It's like a relationship you don't know they are going to cheat on you. You just have faith that they won't. I mean, though trust is something that is earned over time through evidence. So it's a little different. Yeah, that's interesting. Phantom says, did the virgin birth actually involve one of Mary's egg cells or was she a surrogate mother? So I learned this really interesting piece of information from Justin from Deconstruction Zone that the perspective in that culture at that time was that the man's sperm was the entire thing and that the woman was truly just an incubator. And so probably at the time they believed that like if God made Mary pregnant, they didn't need anything from Mary. She just grew the baby, essentially. Hey, T-Bone. Yes, an ex-Christian chat. Well, Sean, to be fair, I mean, some of the stories are really unbelievable. Hi, Josie. Did you ever think of becoming Catholic? Well, so I stopped believing in God altogether. So that would not have made a lot of sense for me. Yeah, T-Bone, that's correct. Hi, Francois. We're doing good. Yeah, we're doing really well. Thanks. Yeah, so T-Bone, I have an FAQ playlist on my page that'll give you the whole backstory. It was a long process. Yeah, Rod, a lot of people have speculated that for sure. Yeah, the Trinity does not actually make sense. I agree. And it's one of those things, like when I have conversations with Christians now about the Trinity, it's like when you point out what doesn't make sense about it, it's almost like used against you, like, oh, yes, but you're using your silly human mind. Okay. Hi, Rachel. Yeah, sure, T-Bone, I get that. And if you watch that video I have, that'll give you the whole story. Yeah, as soon as someone tells me how to use a non-human mind, I'm all ears. Indeed. Hey, Julia. Oh, it's good to see you. T, I stopped believing in 2009. Yeah, Acer, I think so, but I don't know for sure. It's okay, T. um, yeah, it's been a while. So that's what, 16 years? Oh, well, thanks, Kaylee Cake. I appreciate it. And I'm so glad that it's been helpful for you. Yeah, there's a lot of us out here who are finding each other and finding community. So you're always welcome here. Hi, Justin. Ah, gotcha. Well, Tommy, I will try to remember then that it's Tommy and not T-Bone. Oh, awesome. uh, oh, we left the church the same year. Cool, Rachel. Thanks, Blitz. Yeah, John says, my religious ed teachers were like, the Trinity doesn't make sense, but it has to be true. We just don't understand. But that's what makes it special. Yeah. Does the rest of my family still believe? My parents do, and one of my sisters still does. Dr. Joe, hi. It's good to see you. Yes, I will get to see my family for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I am lucky too that like, for a lot of people who leave their faith, going home for the holidays can be really challenging. And so I do feel really lucky that in my family, we've come to a good place about it and it's still like it's still good. How did my family take it? So my parents were very sad when I told them. Like it was hard to tell them. But eventually, like, it got better, but it was hard. Maybe they're closet universalists. Yeah, I think my dad moved from believing in like eternal conscious torment to annihilation. Um, so he has sort of changed on that spectrum. Yeah, Francois, that totally makes sense. Oh, oh, well, I mean, maybe that's good that they don't care. I'm not sure. Oh, well, thank you, Rod. I appreciate that. David says, deciding to walk away from Christianity and the church community has been the hardest thing ever for me. Yet remaining in it was very problematic. Yeah, it is quite a dilemma. Oh, well, hey, Caleb. Well, welcome. A New Testament written by Jewish authors? I don't know what that means. Josie says, I've been an atheist for 2 years, but still catch myself praying whenever I think about dying. Is that normal? I mean, I 100% believe God doesn't exist. So if you 100% don't think God exists, who does it feel like you're praying to? Like, does it feel like just a hope that something's there? Oh, thanks, cute puppies. That's really kind. What denomination? I grew up in a Presbyterian church, but as I got older, I was part of a couple different denominations. So I just say Protestant. Hi. Well, so Chris, when Christians say faith, they often use that in several different ways. Like sometimes it's a synonym for believing something without a lot of evidence, and sometimes it's a synonym for trusting people, And so I think those are very different things within your brain. Oh, well, thank you, M4. I appreciate it. Rachel says, I was always promised peace when I was a Christian, but becoming agnostic is what finally gave me peace. I mean, I can't complain about Paddington Bear. Yeah, Dr. Joe says, I think our brains look for the ritual, connection, meaning, and purpose that come with religion. Yeah. For sure. Julia says, I think giving up the threat of hell helps with the peace. Also that. Yeah, definitely. Hi, Ron. Yeah, certainly kinetic. There is a lot of suffering right now. Oh, you believe in Greek gods. Okay. Well, yeah, that's probably, I mean, in some ways pretty similar to how I grew up, just the Protestant version of that. Yeah. Dude Man says, I find the statement, I'm struggling with my faith, is the vaguest, best way to say you don't believe around family and friends. Yeah, it certainly is vague in that it leaves so much wiggle room for kind of whatever the person hearing it wants to put in there. Hey, Adam. No, I consider myself an agnostic atheist. You and we definitely prayed not just in fear when we were Christians. We absolutely thanked God all the time. Hi, John. Yeah, Rachel says, once you left Christianity, did you feel like you were seeing the world through different eyes? Absolutely. It was so disorienting too. Like wait, you're taking off a pair of glasses and looking around, and the world is completely different. Yeah. No, Chris, so I don't pray because as an agnostic atheist, it means that I don't believe that there is a God. So for me, I don't have the inclination to pray because I don't think that there's anyone listening. Yeah, Rod, I mean, witchcraft shows up in the Bible quite a bit. Oh, yes, thank you, Soul. That happens with sisters, Julia. Oh, no, I never saw Better Call Saul. Yeah, Seal says Christianity is a very comforting and reassuring belief mechanism. I found it to be kind of a double-edged sword in that way because some of the promises are really reassuring. Hey, there's this paradise for you after you die. You can feel certain all the time of what is right and wrong. And there's someone watching over you all the time. Like there's a lot of things that can be really reassuring. And also, kind of the flip side of that is there's a lot of things that can be anxiety inducing with Christianity, particularly if you're in evangelical Christianity. There's a lot of urgency and pressure and never feeling good enough, but then feeling guilty that you don't feel good enough because you think you're supposed to feel good enough because Jesus loves you, but then you're never going to actually be good enough. And I think it really depends on your individual brain and how your brain works too. Tony says, it's so much harder for me to believe there's not a creator. Wait, to believe there's not a creator than there is. Yeah, I can understand that. Millie, I used to be a Christian and I no longer am. Sorry, y'all. Like my allergies are bothering me today. So if this eye's fine and this eye is like itchy and watery. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Chip. Adam says, as a Christian, you will never be good enough. That's why Jesus died on the cross. Right. Yeah. And so living your life knowing you're never going to be good enough, no matter how much Jesus loves you in spite of that, it's still a crappy feeling. Like you don't get to just erase that. Yeah, Josie says, when I was Christian, I caught myself thinking of hell a lot because I'm transgender. Yeah, I mean, for anyone who is transgender in the queer community, in any respect, Christianity can be a really volatile place to be. And it depends, right? Like, oh, sorry. And it depends. Like, there are some queer affirming churches, but it, you can run into a lot of, hate and anger in there too. Good night, Julia. Um, yeah, so funny story asking why I'm allergic. I'm actually allergic to the bunnies' hay. So, like, I'm not allergic to the bunnies, but as I'm like cleaning up after them, if I like get a big just of hay, like it makes me allergic. Bear Discovery says, leaving Christianity gave me a chance to explore community in different ways. They are more holistic and sustainable, in my opinion, because they are not founded on believing I am a sinner. Oh, that's so much anxiety. Yeah, Seal says the Church of Christ, the church I grew up in and got baptized into, preaches that you can lose your salvation. And that thought always loomed over my head before I started deconstructing. Yeah, phew, man. So, I mean, for as much anxiety as I had as an evangelical, we it's sort of like a version of once saved, always saved. Like I did think you could lose your salvation if you purposefully, thoughtfully renounced it, but I didn't think you could lose your salvation just for sinning, you know? And so I can't imagine the anxiety of not knowing for sure all the time. Ugh. Adam, I don't think Adam says, I know what you mean about the guilt feeling. I know you think it's fake, but that's when we have to pray to God to forgive us. No, I don't think it's fake when we feel guilty. Um, I think it's incorrect to say that we are completely and totally depraved and broken and evil. I think we do bad things sometimes. We do feel guilty for those. And then it's up to us to go make amends to the people that we hurt. Arian, I don't know what you're asking. Yeah, first says, if Jesus is also God, doesn't that mean he impregnated his own mother with himself? Yeah, the Trinity gets a little messy. Jesusception. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, being exposed to things like carbon monoxide um, is interesting. So, I mean, I think when we say, are there natural laws, a law is something that we perceive as a human being. And so it's words that we use to describe how things are, how they function. Um, I don't think though morals are in the same category as something like gravity. Um, it's morals are definitely something that is purely from our human perspective. Yeah, Chip, it does help for me to wear a mask when I change their cage. I need to do that. And I have an air filter, but it says I have to change the little filter in my fancy air filter, and I don't know how to do that. And so I just haven't because my type B brain works that way. Oh, thanks. JS says, enjoying your secular Bible study series. Do please check that out. If you haven't, it's featuring Justin from Deconstruction Zone, and you get to learn a ton. Is there anything that comes to mind as far as new things you've learned? Yes. One of the most interesting things that I've learned just going through Genesis is that the way the document was constructed, there was essentially like faith traditions in the North and faith traditions in the South with different existing documents. And when they all merged together to be one nation, those documents were physically merged. And so that's why you see stories repeat. It's like, here's one version of the story and here's the other version of the story to make like one cohesive document for the whole new people group, which then makes the book of Genesis make so much more sense. That is an interesting combination. Hey, Minnie. Briley, that's such a good way to describe that. Thank you. That's so well put. Briley says natural laws do not dictate the way the universe works. They describe the phenomena we observe in the universe. Yeah, well put. Thank you. Hi, Joe. Oh, Joel, sorry. I don't know, Rod. I honestly don't really think I can wrap my brain around what like infinity would be or mean. I don't, not really. Yeah, I mean, to your point, South African, it's learning the history of like how the Bible was put together, and how it was translated. It makes it more and more difficult to believe that it's a perfect document. Yeah, well, and Rod, I just can't, I mean, that may be correct, but I just can't wrap my brain around it. Hey, Rational. Well, thanks for popping in, though. I appreciate it. Hey, Nancy. Um, Nguyen, it sounds like you're making some pretty big leaps there. Oh, Tema, you should check out the secular Bible study we have on the on my page. It might go really well with what you're doing. Oh, thanks, Oh, I was gonna say Martini, but that's not quite it. Martini. Grace, hi, welcome. So this channel is especially the lives are for people who are also ex-Christians or ex any believer, just to kind of chat and meet people who are in the same position you are. On my channel, I have some kind of assortment of videos. But yeah, that's what the lives are for. Well, thanks, Josie. Oh, well, congrats on voting. Oh, 1995 says I'm ex-Jehovah's Witness. Welcome. Ew, Bose, what a gross thing to say. Oh, man. Have you ever had any experiences you would call super rational or supernatural? I mean, I've never seen anything that was like I would describe as a miracle. I certainly had times where I thought God was answering my prayers, or like I thought I felt him um like speaking to me, but not literally, just in your own head kind of stuff. What does being an ex-Christian mean? So it means that I used to be a Christian and now I am not. Thanks, Chip. What made you stop? Was it gradual or sudden? Gradual well, I guess it's all relative, right? It took me about a year. Was your faith related to upbringing, politics? Not politics at all. I grew up in like a Christian home though. How hard is it to potty train a rabbit? Kind of hard. I mean, I think some bunnies do it easily, but it's harder because I have two that don't get along. And so while they're pretty good about using their litter boxes, they also will just like leave little poops right around the outside of their litter box to be like, hey man, don't come in my litter box. Hi, Jessica. Hey, Eric. It means I used to believe in Jesus and now I don't believe in any God. Hi, Allie. If you had one piece of advice for someone questioning their faith, one thing you learned during the deconstruction process, but wish you had known from the outset, what would that be? Ooh. I mean, I guess I would say it will be really hard and it will get better. The hard part will not last forever, and then you will feel a lot better on the other side of it and get support. Either lean into your existing support system or take steps to build a new support system, and be kind to yourself. Hey, Brenda. What is the process of leaving a Christian church? Do you have to make a formal declaration to the institution? No, you can just stop going. 1995 says, have you considered doing debates like other live streamers? So the only time I do that is once a week on my TikTok. I'll take guests over there. I don't do it as much because it's not like connection and community is my primary goal. So I do debates a little bit, but it's not like my primary goal. Oh yeah, Bunny could definitely get through a doggy door. Do you think philosophy is real? That question doesn't make sense. I mean, philosophy is a method of thinking. Were you taught Old Testament or New Testament? I'm not, I mean, I read the whole thing. Awaken says, would you consider yourself an atheist or more of an agnostic? So I actually use both terms because if you ask, do you believe in God? My answer would be no. I don't believe that there's a God. But if you ask me, well, do you know for sure? Like, are you certain? No, I'm not certain, but I don't think so. So that's why I use agnostic atheist. Thanks, CB. It's a really interesting question. Noah says, in the entire history of the world, what percentage of people have converted to Christianity because of a philosophical argument? I don't know. I think using philosophy to justify God makes so much more sense if you already believe in God. But using philosophy to convince someone to believe in God, I have not ever seen it work. I mean, maybe it does. I just haven't seen it work. Thanks, Briley. 1995 says, I say I'm agnostic because I feel there's so much we still don't understand, even about our ocean and planet, let alone the universe. Yeah, I think that's completely fair. Sharon says, I love listening to philosophical debates, but to be really honest, I don't see a philosophical argument turning me into a God believer. Yeah, I personally, just like from my perspective, don't enjoy philosophical debates. Like, actual philosophy is just not particularly enjoyable to me. Awaken says, thanks for replying. Yeah, I believe that there is some force that has a guiding hand, but I do not believe that man is capable of understanding it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So, do you think the fact that you and the things around exist isn't proof that there is a creator? I do not think that. I mean, if you believe in a creator, is the creator's existence proof that something else created your creator? It was a bit of a tongue twister. Have you discovered any new beliefs like spirituality, or do you not believe in anything? So I don't believe in anything supernatural. And so we would have to use um, a pretty, I don't know, incredibly general, broad definition of spirituality. Um, CB says, when you left your faith, what was the most difficult part of your departure and how did you overcome the difficulty? So there was a lot of grief and loss, and it was so disorienting. Um, but I mean, the hardest part was losing my community, you know, not having church anymore. And eventually I lost all those friends. So that was the hardest part. And so I guess how did I overcome that? I made new friends eventually. You know, I built a new support system, but it took a while. Is there a debate or atheist activist that got you thinking during your deconstruction? Mostly the answer is no. I was not, at the time, I didn't read anything from atheists. And this is back in 2009. And so social media was barely even a thing. I didn't really have a place to interact with atheist content. So it was something that I came to mostly all on my own. Right at the end, I think I picked up a book or two, but almost no, I would say. CB says, wow, would you say that it was your church community, you leaving your church community, or your church community leaving you? Well, both. I mean, that the problem with a church community is that the thing you all have in common is your belief. And so when you don't have that belief anymore, are you still welcome in the community? You know, you don't share the thing in common that you all used to share in common. So, in some sense, like I stopped attending church because it felt hypocritical of me to keep attending church. And, you know, I stopped going to like our small group meetings because I couldn't really, it was just a Bible study, right? Like I can't go to Bible study anymore. And then with my friends, you know, it eventually became that all of the interactions I would have with them was them just trying to convert me back. And so you can't sustain a friendship like that. You know, you can't really be honest and vulnerable with each other if you feel like a project. Thanks. Thanks, Allie. Um, Yeah, I mean, Seal, you know, I don't think that my friends, it wasn't like they just rejected me and said, we don't want to talk to you anymore. It was just that like the thing keeping us all together was broken and we didn't know how to have a relationship anymore. Hmm. 1995 says, have you found your own personal meaning in existence? I personally struggle because of my mental health issues, finding motivation, but my religion was never comforting either. Yeah. Um, Someone, if you don't already follow Brittany Hartley, Her handle is No Nonsense Spirituality. And she has so many, I don't know, good, thoughtful things to say about finding purpose and like nihilism and existential dread. And she's just wonderful. So I would absolutely recommend Brittany Hartley. And again, her handle is No Nonsense Spirituality. She's great. Hi, 11. Within your church community, did you ever get the impression that there were members of your church who were not actual believers, but there for other reasons? I never got that impression. That may have been the case, but I was not ever aware of that. Oh, thanks, Growla. Sharon says, I have found that my meaning or purpose in life is to leave the world a better place than I found it and to make it a better place for future generations. And that can manifest in a variety of ways. Yeah, that's beautiful. And yeah, that can keep changing as you grow and age and are doing different things. My favorite answer to that question is a Kurt Vonnegut quote. The purpose of human life, no matter who is in control of it, is to love whoever is around to be loved. That's definitely like how I see my meaning. Chris, what are you asking? Oh, good, Auburn, I'm glad. Paul says, I'm just trying to be a better person than I was yesterday. Many physicists do not think that the universe had a beginning. The Big Bang just represents as far back as we can measure or, create mathematical assumptions about. We don't know what was before the Big Bang. And there are several different hypotheses right now, but it may not have had a beginning. What does the math point to? What? So like I said, there are several hypotheses about what was before the Big Bang, but we aren't able to measure it, so we don't know. Yeah, no, Chris, I understand what the word martyr means. It was a very weird question for you to ask me if I considered being a martyr. Oscillating universe theory. Is that where it expands and contracts? You're welcome. Nice. Oh, I love that hypothesis. Yeah, that's the one that makes sense to me. Doug said to say hi. Hey, Doug. No, I will say I have lost my cool on occasion. It's rare. Or, I mean, I guess maybe not lost my cool completely. I've scolded people before. Yeah, Dr. Blitz is very interesting, but I can't hang with him. I mean, yeah, I'm no physicist. Well, I mean, Chris, you're asking me if I ever like thought or planned about being killed for my faith. That's a weird thing to ask anyone, like Protestant or Catholic. Oh, I hear checkers. Hang on. Ooh, you too. Yeah, it's hard with your parents. And like, I want my parents to be happy, and their faith brings them a lot of happiness, but it is hard to manage that way. Whoops, wait. Am I a physicist? No, I'm a physiologist. Hey, do you want to say hello to all of our friends? Yeah, good bunny. Good bunny. Yes, good girl. This is Checkers. Oh, she's so fluffy. Yeah, you're the fluffiest, aren't you? Hi. Okay, you want to say goodbye? Oh, bye. Okay, more snuggles. Okay, let's go, bunny. Good girl. Oh, that's Checkers. Yeah, so yeah, she does that like stomp when she's mad. My PhD specialization is in I hold on, sorry. I try not to give like too much personal information out on the internet. But I'm trying to, how do I answer this generally? But like, is essentially like human physiology and the role of physical activity on human physiology. No, she doesn't chew cud. Oh, Checkers will come sleep on my chest if I'm lying down here on the couch. Like she'll hop up on the couch and just like come snuggle. It's really cute. Bunnies do have the zoomies, yeah. Um, well, Chris is saying that in Catholicism, it's normal to seek martyrdom. I while I understand that many saints were martyred and we're praising them or elevating them or saying what an amazing sacrifice, that's very different from people actively seeking out martyrdom. Why did they swap the two mosquitoes? Yeah, I don't know that I've ever really met someone who's like, that's their goal. Well, listen, friends, it is my bedtime. I have to call it a night. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and for a really lovely conversation. I will be back here on YouTube on Thursday. So please come back on Thursday. I'm also on TikTok, more honestly, more than YouTube. So please come find me on TikTok if you use TikTok as well. And definitely check out the series that I have with Justin from Deconstruction Zone here on my page. We are going through the Bible basically chapter by chapter, and it's really cool. Oh, I know, Justin's so cute with those kitties. Alrighty, but I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you soon.